All right, guys, if you are joining me for part two, that means that you have read chapter 9 and you are ready to answer your questions. So we will get started. I will read you the 4 comprehension questions. Remember that you only need to choose 2. So, why did Mama and Dad make Byron sleep in their room the night before the big trip? Make an inference. So they don't exactly say why it is that they're having him sleep there, but remember from our chapter 7 video, we reviewed making an inference. Think about what the text says, what you know about Byron and his personality, and why his parents would probably want to keep a close eye on him before they drive him to Birmingham. Question 2. How does Kenny really feel about sending Byron to Grandma Stan's house for the summer? So again, you have to go back to the text and read. The book is written in first person, which means that we know what Kenny is thinking and feeling. So we want to go back to the text and see if there are any clues where Kenny tells us what he is thinking about when he finds out that Byron will be going to Grandma Stan's house for the summer. Is he excited about it? Does he think it will work? Is he sad about it? How does he feel? Question 3. What did Kenny see on TV that worried him about traveling to Birmingham, and what was Daddy's response? So remember at the beginning of this unit, in chapter 1, we looked over the differences between Flint and Birmingham. And Birmingham is located in the South in Alabama, and at that point in time in 1963, segregation was still legal. So people were forced to use separate restrooms, separate hospitals, restaurants, separate neighborhoods, separate schools based on their race. And so that's very different than what was happening in Flint, Michigan, where things were integrated, meaning that people of different races were able to use the same facilities, use the same schools, go to the same restaurants, live in the same neighborhoods. So I want you to think, what would Kenny see on TV that's happening in Birmingham that would make him feel worried? And what was his dad's response? Now, this is going to be really important because at the end of this, I am going to ask you if you think Kenny's parents showed courage in sending Byron to Birmingham. So I really suggest answering question 3 because that will help prepare you for the exit ticket. And remember that a response is what someone says, what they think, and what they feel in a situation. The last question you can choose from today is question 4. Why did Daddy and Mama think sending Byron to Birmingham for the summer was a good idea? What did they hope he would learn? So this question is just asking you why. Why did they think this was the way to help him? What are they hoping that he'll learn? And what do they hope will change about his behavior? So those are the 4 choices that you have today. Go ahead and circle the 2 that you would like to answer and write your responses below. Remember to go back to the text and look for examples, and then resume the video when you are ready for the activities of the day. All right, if you are watching the video, that means you are ready to start your activities for the day, and you have 2 choices. But I'm going to start with choice number 1 because it's really fun and it's something different we haven't done before. So option number 1 says, Mama planned the family's trip to Birmingham so that they could stick to a schedule and a budget, right? Remember in her notebook, she had a list of all the things that they were going to do, the times that they were going to stop to get gas, where they were going to eat, everything. She had it all planned out, right? So your choice today is to pretend that you are planning a road trip to a city of your choice, and you're going to go to Google Maps and find out how long it would take to drive there and answer some of the questions. So I did put this link here, maps.google.com. That's where you would go to. So let's take a look. So here's Google Maps, and if I were doing this, let's pretend that I really would like to go to Austin, Texas. And I know we're in the time of coronavirus and we can't really travel, but we can pretend. So I would like to go to Austin, Texas because they have really good food. I've heard. I've never been there, but I've heard that they have really good barbecue, really good tacos, really good everything. And I would like to go there to eat. So I'm going to type in Austin, Texas right here. And I am going to find it on a map. And I see, okay, here's Austin, Texas. The next step I'm going to take, I'm going to click on this button right here, this blue button, right here that says directions. So I want to get directions from Austin, Texas. So you can choose a starting point. You can do your own house, or you could just do Mesa, Arizona, or you could do the school. I'm going to choose the school address. So let's see, 548 North Mesa Drive, Mesa, Arizona. So that is our school address. So now I can see how long it would take to get there. So over here, when I look, I see the route. So here's school, and then here's Austin, Texas. So I'd be going east. I see that it would take me 16 hours and 19 minutes, and that it is a 1,068-mile trip. So then what you're going to do once you've chosen the city you'd like to go to, and you see how far it's going to take, you can go back to your packet. And so let's say I'm going to travel to Austin, Texas, and the distance is 1,068 miles. And if I'm going to drive, it will take me 16 hours and how many minutes? I have to go back and check. 16. Oh, wow. Look, I made a pitfall. So I can go this way, and I can go a longer way, and it'll take me 16 hours. Or I can go this way, and it'll take me 14 hours. So I'm going to choose the shorter route, 14 hours and 43 minutes. So it'll take me 14 hours and 43 minutes. And this is a shorter distance, too. So it's only 1,007 miles. I'm going to go that way. I'm going to save myself some time so I can have more time in the city to eat all the good barbecue. So how many stops would you take? So that's the next question. So I look at the map and I see, okay, are there any big cities that I drive through? And I know that it's a big city because there'll be a dot and it'll be a big and bold. So here, for example, I'm going to drive through Tucson. Well, if I look at my trip, I could stop in Tucson if I wanted, or I could try to drive a little bit longer. When I plan a road trip, I like to see kind of where's the halfway point where I can figure out where to stop. And it looks to me like El Paso is not quite the halfway point, but it is a pretty good distance away from the school. So I am going to say that I'm going to stop in this big city, El Paso. I'm going to stop there to get my lunch. So how many stops did I make? I probably only make one stop, and I would stop in El Paso. Oh, there's my doggies. Okay, guys, sorry for the interruption. Hank and Olive, they forget that they have to raise their paws if they want to talk. Sometimes they just bark. No, I'm just kidding. That's a silly teacher joke. All right, so I have decided to go to Austin, Texas, which is 1,007 miles away. It'll take me 14 hours to drive there, and I'm only going to make one stop because I want to spend all my time in Austin eating all the good food. So I am going to say that I'm going to just make my trip in one day. But if I wanted to, I could split it into 2 days, and I could stop and stay the night in El Paso and get up the next day and drive over to Austin, Texas. So it really just depends on how far away. Like if your trip, let's say your trip is 24 hours, like it is for me to go to Oregon, that's probably going to take you 2 days. You don't want to drive for one whole day straight because that's not very safe. So you would probably want to find a place where you could stop and stay the night. So that is your option for number one, if you'd like to do that. Option number two is to pretend that you're Byron. So this time, not Kenny's perspective, but pretend that you are Byron and summarize what happened in this chapter, focusing on the main parts and writing from his perspective. So I am going to Birmingham with my family because I have been disrespectful. My parents hope I will learn this, or whatever it is that you would like to write that you think was important from this chapter. So those are your two choices. You can put together your own road trip, which is pretty fun, or you can also write from Byron's perspective, which is not something we've done before. So go ahead and pause the video and then decide when you are ready. You can come back and I'll explain the exit ticket to you. All right, our exit ticket today. I did mention to you when we were doing the comprehension questions that the exit ticket question has to do with thinking about mom and dad and whether or not they were showing courage. So here's the question. Do you think Mama and Dad are showing courage by having Byron experience prejudice and racism in Birmingham? So, prejudice is when you have negative beliefs about someone because of their identity. That could be their gender, that could be their religion, that could be their age, that could be their race, the color of their skin, what country they are from, what language they speak. A prejudice is when you have negative beliefs about someone because of their identity. So Byron is going to Birmingham because mom and dad want him to experience prejudice and they want him to experience racism. They want him to see what segregation is like in the South so that he can kind of appreciate the life that he has in the North, where he does not experience as much prejudice and racism that existed at that time as it did in the South. So, do you think that they are being brave by trying to teach him this lesson? Yes or no? So you're going to say, yes, I think they are brave. No, they are not brave. And then you're going to say why you think that. And you can use your own thinking as well as anything in the text. As I said, if you answered question number 3, which asked you to explain what dad was thinking, that might help you with this question, but it really just depends on your opinion. So I am asking for your opinion here. Do you think that they are being brave by exposing him to this situation so that he will learn, yes or no, and why? And you can write your answer below or you can post it in Google Classroom. So that is all for chapter 9, and I will see you next week. We will be doing chapters 10, 11, and 12. Take care. See you soon.